X is for xylophone. No, of course it's not for xylophone. Hi people, Daniel from Devil & Sons Guitars here, and today under X I'm going to look at XLR jacks, a very specific type of jack that you might find on some guitars. We're going to look at what it is and why it's there. Don't forget though, this X here is from a very particular brand related to guitars in some way, and in just a few videos time I will tell you what brand that's from. So have a guess, have a think, leave a comment below and tune in for that video. So here we see the end of two XLR cables. They're also called mic cables because you'll recognise them as the things that plug into microphones. Here at the end of the mic we have a male connector. We know it's a male connector because it's got the pins pointing out, and that would tie in to a female connector which has the holes that match up. Now the reason we have them on mics, quickly, here's a male XLR not in a lead. This one has actually come out of my Tech 21 Sans amp bass pedal. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We have 3 pins there. Actually, let me turn it around this way. 3 pins there. The one on the left is the ground shielding pin. The one on the right is the positive pin, the hot pin. And then here we've got the negative pin, the 3rd one at the bottom. And obviously the holes in the female end match up with that. And we can see on this one it says 1, 2, 3. So the opposite way round. 1 being the ground. Now apparently that's only been a standard for a while. And before that you used to get variation, especially across Europe and America, where the 2 and 3 pins would be the other way round, which would obviously cause problems when you plug things in. On the back of this though, you can see that there are 4 lugs. 1 for each pin and 1 which is the shielding that's around it, because the shielding is going to be earthed separately. Now that might be different if your device was an active device, in which case it might be shielded via the ground on pin 1. Also to note, the pins indicate the direction of the flow, so they go from the output into the input. So the input has the holes and the output has the pins, which is the exact opposite of a plug in the wall, where the output on the wall has the holes and the input has the pins that you plug into it. So we can follow the direction of flow from the pins, from the mic, from wherever it is, the audio device, into the mixer. Anyway, listen, the advantage of an XLR cable is they are balanced cables, which means they really reduce any noise or hum that's picked up in an audio cable, which is why you find them used in high-end pro audio equipment. It's one reason you have them in microphones. The balancedness is because for these 3 pins, each one has 2 wires wrapped together, covered in shielding, and they send the signal from the device you have, like the mic, into the amp or the mixing desk. Now, since the amplifier at the receiving end measures the difference in voltage between the signals, noise that is identical on both wires can be cancelled out because it's assumed that's the background noise that it's picking up. That's one reason why these would be called balanced audio. It also means they can send signals over a much longer distance, which is why you would have cables like this, which could be up to 100 meters long without really getting that much of interference. Whereas really with a guitar cable, they're much shorter. 4 or 5 meters, 10 meters max, really. The other thing is they can also be used to send power back from the load to the source, so back to a mic, if a mic needed phantom power supplying to it to help it run and amplify. Now you might be thinking, why don't we get these on guitars? I've just said that this was on my guitar pedal. Well, on my pedal, the Tech 21 Sans amp, it actually acts as a DI box. I used to play bass live all the time, and always my output of my pedals before it went into the amp would go into a DI box, which would split it. One into the amp, so I could hear the amp on stage and the audience had a bit of the amp sound, but normally the amp became the monitor. And the other split signal went via an XLR straight into the mixing desk, so it could be mixed and played over the main speakers. Now, this pedal basically did that for us, so I could output straight to the mixing desk without going through a DI box. And one thing a DI box is, it sorts out the problem that guitars have, which is why you can't use XLRs on guitars. and that is pickups. So the reason you can't use your XLR, even though it's balanced and would seem better, is that the sort of pickup that you have within a microphone has a much lower output. And if you have like a piezo pickup, it's even lower still. So what happens is the signal goes through clean. Whereas if you were to plug this straight into your guitar, so to put this into your guitar instead of your normal jack, what would end up happening is the signal would be really distorted because the output from this pickups is much higher. Now, I've got videos about pickups, I've got videos about jacks in this A to Z, but that's essentially why you don't find XLR on guitars. Although saying that, there are some that do have it built in, and I would assume that the reason they have them built in is because either they have a different pickup built in, maybe a piezo pickup like on an electroacoustic, or maybe it's because there's a DI box equivalent built into the guitar, some sort of preamp. Now, if you're one of those people that uses an XLR jack, please leave your note in the comment below saying why you use one and what guitar it's on. Don't forget as well, you can check out my video here, which looks at jacks and standard jacks on guitars. It was earlier on in the A to Z. Until next time, happy strumming.